Hi everyone, these are anatomy and physiology videos for healthcare students. This video covers microscope parts and functions. So let's start by talking through the parts that you see on the screen: ocular lens, nose piece, and objective lens. This particular compound-like microscope has only one ocular lens, and that's where you place your only eye to look through the microscope. Some compound-like microscopes do have two ocular lenses. Now the nose piece has a little dial on it. The purpose of that nose piece is to help you rotate the objectives. What you don't want to do is grab a hold of an objective and goodness, break it off. Then you've got a problem. So in order to prevent damage to those objectives, we rotate using the nose piece. So those objectives are going to come in order of magnification, which we'll cover next. In this picture, there are four objectives. Let me circle those objectives for you. This particular microscope has a 4x, a low magnification or a scanning objective. There's a 10x, a 40x, and then a 100x power objective. Now, that 100x is what we call an oil immersion lens. It's because it goes very close to the microscope slide, and we put a drop of oil so that we don't crack the microscope slide by putting that objective in place. Normally, that's really reserved for small things like bacteria or microbiology. In anatomy and physiology, we tend to use 4x, 10x, and 40x only. Now, what you can't see from looking at this picture, those objectives get longer by the power. The shortest objective is the 4x. The longest one here is the 100x. If you need to know how to calculate the total magnification, you always take your ocular lens. It's normally 10 times what you can see with the naked eye, and you multiply that by your objective lens. So let's say we want to use the 4x objective. The total magnification is 10 for the ocular times 4 for the objective is 40x total magnification. So let's talk about how you would put a microscope slide on and work it. This portion here is called the mechanical stage. There are some clips there to hold your slide in place. As you move your slide around using stage knobs, you don't want that slide to fall off. So there's stage clips to secure that microscope slide. There's also a light that sits underneath the microscope stage and a condenser that controls the amount of light that reaches your eye. Here in red, I've circled the condenser. So it controls with a little switch or a knob how much light can travel up through that microscope slide into your objectives and then be seen through your eye. Now, there's also a set of knobs on the side. They're control knobs to help you focus your specimen on the microscope slide. There's actually a bigger wheel called the coarse focus knob, and there's a smaller one called the fine focus knob. The fine focus makes small adjustments. If you have something mostly in focus and you just want to sharpen the image, you'll use the fine focus knob. But if you don't see anything at all and you're trying to locate your image, that coarse focus knob will actually give you grand movements of that stage up and down so that you can locate your specimen. Here's another view of the condenser. This time we're looking up underneath that mechanical stage. Here's the condenser. Now the light is sitting below it. And here is the fine focus knob, the coarse focus knob, and barely visible on the right side over there, those are the two stage control knobs. One to move you left and right, one to move you forward and backward. So when you're ready to work with your microscope, maybe you're picking it up off of a cabinet shelf, you'll use two hands. One hand goes on the arm of the microscope. Sometimes it's called the frame. The other hand goes up underneath. It's called the base. When you're ready to view your slide, We recommend starting with the lowest magnification objective lens. So I would position, using your nose piece, the 4x objective in place. Now, I would crank the stage using the coarse focus knob all the way up closest to your 4x objective. Why do that? Because you're going to put your eye on that ocular lens and you're going to use your hand on the coarse focus knob to turn that stage and move it down. What you want to avoid doing is moving up towards your objective and cracking your lens. So by doing it in this format, you'll avoid ever having cracked your lens on your microscope slide or your lens on your objective. You're going to move that stage away from your objective. So once you've secured your stage or your microscope slide on the stage with stage clips, you'll put your hand on the oculars, and then now you're ready to drive the microscope. So just like driving a car, you're going to want to leave your eyes on the microscope and then feel comfortable enough manipulating those control knobs with your hands. So you'll put your hand on the coarse knob, another hand on the mechanical stage, and then you'll crank that stage down slowly so that you can spot any specimen image that comes into focus. If you start to see something come into focus, you can use your fine focus knob to help sharpen that image. Or if you're not getting anything, you can use the mechanical stage knobs to move your image left, right, forward, or backward. So it takes practice doing this, and the more you use your microscope, the better you'll be at locating and focusing on your image. Let's take a moment to troubleshoot. You know, finding a specimen on the microscope can be sometimes challenging, so always start with that 4x objective. If you can't see anything, use your mechanical stage knobs to move the specimen left, right, front, and back until you can find something to view underneath that microscope slide. Keep in mind, sometimes air bubbles are visible, and don't be disappointed if those show up. You just keep looking. Sometimes the glue around the edge of the slip cover will show up. So with practice, you'll be better at locating the specimen that you're trying to view on your compact light microscope. Just a reminder to always start with the lowest power. Once you locate it, that specimen, you can then go up in power. Most microscopes are built to be parfocal. Once you've found the image at 4x, you will also have it at 10x and 40x. Let's talk about what happens if your image is too dark. So the image on the left doesn't have good contrast. It's too dark. It needs to be more lit. So what you can do is, of course, make sure your light is on. You would see nothing if your light was off. But now manipulate your condenser. So if you open up the condenser, the image should become brighter, and then you can adjust that as needed. I also want to mention the amount of brightness you get depends on which objective you're using as well. So if you have looked out and located your specimen on the 4x objective, let's say that you need more magnification. Now you've got your image in focus, use your nose piece, rotate up to the next higher power. You should now be able to see more detail. You've magnified your image. Microscopes are parfocal, meaning if they're in focus at 4x, they're also going to be in focus at 10x as well as 40x. All right, so sometimes you get the image there and you're like, hey, I can't quite see it. How can I make this better? So this is a real simple fix. All you need to do in this case is fine focus. Okay, so use that fine focus. It'll pull that image clearer and sharpen it for you. Well, I hope this video was helpful. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. Thanks for watching.